Hello everybody, welcome back to Exploring the Black Country, Midlands Outdoors. Here just by the gate entrance to Holloway House, that was here many years ago. Just pan around to show you, can just see where the old houses would have been situated right the way over there. It's an interesting piece of land, so I will just show you the gates for it. You can just see some more attachment ends there for the gate. Really cool to see that Stephen's still there. Coming around the corner it does say there, Holloway House, painted right the way on. So I have got an old Ordnance Survey map just to show you where Holloway House was up by Drew's Holloway. Just right away into the middle, so it's very busy. Got the buses and all the cars up at the Drew's Holloway. Very busy road. So right, our plan is to go further on. I'm going to show you where Hatherton Lodge was. Put a few photos when I get there for you. It's a bit of information and history there. Got a park at the back here, some memorial gardens to show you. If I have got time I might go further down the bottom and show you some more things. Got some derelict stuff at the bottom where some shops used to be a Chinese, and then you've got the bottom ends there which I will show you further on. Might have to do a part 2 to the video. You see, it's nice to see this is even still here, give you an old sense of a residential past for the area. And there was a big massive house into here, but just journeying slightly further in, you can just see evidence remains for the house by all brick on the floor. You can just see brick on the corner here, tons of brick there, and even here, there's loads of brick here. So maybe where we're standing right away now is the gardens, and you had the main house where I'm pointing to right away in the middle. I think if you go further on there, but I'm not going to do it, there is actually cellars right away in the middle what you can sort of get under the ground on, I've been told. But yeah, let's go further up and we'll go and show you where Hatherton Lodge used to be. So right, we're on the corner to Coleman Hill. Let's just cycle a bit further up to here. Where we am right now, it used to be an old house where we're situated. So we'll put an old photo on now. So in the old days when you're coming down Drew's Holloway, many of the older generation who are watching the videos may remember a house being here. Just next to Coleman Hill, just onto the corners, you can just see the road going all the way down to the bottom of Drew's Holloway. The house that was situated right the way here. It is interesting to see what was here many years ago, but it's just vast open field land now here, and you've got some houses right the way at the back. The memorial gardens are just right the way over to there. But let's go and check out Hatherton Lodge first and tell you a bit of information about it. So here we are, come up to Cradley, the historic home of chain making. I will come back to that in a little bit. But you see, we're coming by Carpenter Glade at the moment. It's a new housing estate, it's what I built quite a while ago. So Hatherton Lodge used to be situated just literally around this corner. So if I just roll around here, it's just on the right somewhere. So right, this is it. This is where Hatherton Lodge was actually situated. You can just see them building some new houses there at the moment. Just rolling forward, it does say Hatherton Lodge, formerly on this site from 1861, was the home of Noah Hingeley in 1796 to 1877, and also his son Benjamin Hingeley, 1830 to 1905, ironmasters and politicians whose Neverton works made a deck anchor shackle, pins and chain for the Titanic. So right, here's the memorial gardens. It says these gardens and pleasure grounds were laid out and presented on June the 27th, 1953 to the Borough of Holloway by Mr. and Mrs. James Oakley in memory of their son Bernard J. Oakley, who died on active service in Holland October 16th, 1944. Really dating back a bit, but it's really cool to see the gates for the Bernard Oakley just right away at the front, old pillars right the way there, and the gates go right the way through. So right, this is literally the first time I've ever seen this. I've never been over here, no lie. I live only down the road and this is one place that I've always been bugging to come to. So right, let's come a bit further up. We've actually found a bench saying commemorating the Queen's Platinum Jubilee 2022, donated by Cradley Community Centre. So it is very busy over here, so this is why I'll come up a bit further up. So there is a lot of kids down by the garden parts that I wanted to show you, so I don't want to get none of them in the film. I can just show you just an overview from here without zooming in, going all the way around to the far back corners. It is very beautiful over here, so I might come back and show you a little bit of the garden parts. There is some family down there, so I don't know I'll be filming, so we'll leave that to a later date. So I have found some interesting information. Bernard Oakley was a local lad who was killed in the Second World War. The park was gifted to the neighbourhood by his father and mother in dedication to the memory of their lost son. Picture on for you now so you can just see the dedication and opening on the 27th of June 1953 at 3 o'clock. Really cool to see that there. Going all the way down, there is another photo here so you can just see the front entrance gates. Also got another photo here of the Bernard J. Oakley. You've got the person right the way there. Going all the way down, we've got the Dutch Garden, Coleman Hill, and then we've got the Dutch Garden on an old photo so you can compare them and see the difference. So right, I've got some Ordnance Survey maps just before we leave. So if we just zoom in, you can just see it right the way here. It's called the Grange and it says there, Fairview, just right the way next to Coleman Hill and Drew's Holloway, where Holloway House is actually situated. So there we go. So in the old days, this is pretty much all open land. There wasn't many houses right over the back. Today there's quite a lot of houses in the state stretching further over that way. But then it looks like all fields. Really quite cool. Then you come into the top end of Colleygate up to here, Cradley. Then all the way further at the back areas to Cradley Heath, Quarry Bank. Goes over by the River Stour somewhere. There's lots of interesting things around this area, like chain making. That is actually another interesting thing that I want to talk to you about in this part of the video. So right, enjoy this little bit of video that I've got for you. This is actually chain making in the Cradley Heath area. Really interesting.
They've been making chain by hand in the Cradley Heath area since the early 1800s. A lot of small-sized chain and shackles was made for chain companies by outworkers. Whole families who made chain at home. They'd make chain in a workshop at the bottom of the garden or at the back of the house. They'd buy in the iron and coke from a chain company and sell the finished chain back to them at the end of the week. Over the years, chain making, along with the anchor business, grew into a prosperous industry, drawing on the skills and brawn of the local men till the Black Country character became known for what he was: hard-working, hard drinking, hard living. Most chainsmiths learnt the trade through family connections. The know-how was handed down generation to generation. As a lad, he'd go to work with his father, getting the knack of handling tools, learning the right heat of the fire for bending and welding wrought iron links. It was a hard life for a lad, taking at least 7 or 8 years before he could call himself a chainsmith. Incidentally, they'd only pay him for the links he'd shot, and then only if up to scratch. Wrought iron bar is cropped to length. The straight link, as it is then called, is heated in the breeze fire. Using his bending tongs, he puts the link into the bender and bends it U-shaped. After refiring, using his holders, he wraps the bent link round the point of the vicken. Then with his hammer, he welds the link. To finish off the weld, he uses the tommy.
So right, we've moved a bit further on, come out the Bernard Oakley Gardens. It was really busy over there. More people started coming down with families. But yeah, we've moved on a bit further to this way now. It's really open on here. Check out this. Got some nice little areas, got a bench over there. Highfield Community Green just onto the corner there. Some more back areas of housing estate. So I think this does actually back off to where the butchers is right away in front. And you've got the round of beef just right around to the corner, I believe, just over to there. So I think this might actually take us down that way, so let's go and check it out. Yeah, I was right, this is Fordraft Street, all the way down. There was something really interesting here, but I think they've actually modernised it. It was like an old factory unit thing under the corner there. I remember coming up here and actually seeing that. So there is a road that goes to the bottom. I think there is a shortcut to get to the church, but I think I'm going to go down that way because I want to show you the old abandoned buildings that I'm down the bottom of the old houses. There was planning to do something with those, apparently, to turn them into apartments, but they've been left even longer than usual. So let's just go and show you down there. You might see the rounder beef. So I mean, when you come down to the colleygate area, some of the houses do look really old. You can just see zooming in the chimneys for that building there, really old. Some of the old buildings onto the corner. And this is what I mean, some of the Black Country areas have remained slightly with all new modernisation all around it. Let's go and show you down the bottom. So I was right, that's the rounder beef there. It really does date back a bit. You've even got the butchers right around to the corner. You've got Two Gates Lane going right the way down. You can imagine there's quite a lot of stuff here in the old days. Some of it has really changed, all new modernisation right away at the back. But you can just see right away here, that one's actually dating to 1867, E Forest. That one's really old there as well, just onto the corner. You've even got the windmill area just onto the corner here, the post office. Some new stuff over there, flooring surgeons. That one's really dating back a bit once more. They've put a new plaque on top of there. So yeah, that one's called Tennyson House, 1896. Wow, look at the date of that. That's really dating back a bit. Then I think there is something really interesting down here that I can show you in a little while. So we might come back up this way and I will show you that onto the corner. So there is an old chapel onto the corner there, so I will come back to that a bit more later on. But where we want to get to is just around the corner by the Nisa, and the shops are actually just right away down there. So yeah, sorry about the noise, it is very busy this evening. Quite a lot of people around, a lot of cars on the busy road. Imagine people coming to the restaurants down here, the Indians and stuff. So right, nearly there. So right, this journey a bit more further down now, some really interesting stuff. This pub here, I've just noticed this quite a while back, it really does date old. You can just see there is some old writing up there, very old wooden architecture right away at the top. If anybody does know what this was originally called, then drop it into the comments. It's been derelict for a long time, just that pub right around the corner. But yeah, you can just see Wilson Hall right around the corner, Cradley Labour Club. Wilson Hall's also been derelict for a long time. They have plans to knock that down apparently. But yeah, this is what I've come here for, to show you this, some abandoned shops. This is actually the first one, this one's Shacks, Balti and Kebab House, wow. But you can just see the architecture right away at the top. You see some old architecture sticking right out there, patterns. I mean the top up today is really old. Got a buddleia tree growing right away out, but you see, abandoned for a long time, how many times it's been boarded up. So this actually used to be another shop right around the corner. So I think this one used to be another shop. It's got there 66915. Then you've got the Golden Cup. I remember when that was actually open, somebody told me there was actually a nice Chinese. Then it went downhill apparently, so then it become derelict. So you can see when all these ones become derelict, that was the last one to close. So just before we move to the church, this is interesting. I think that is also another old building, Rainbow Street. It actually used to be an old pub. Then it was actually converted into a nursery apartment just right the way there. Just really cool to see that I'm actually still using buildings from the past, modernising it into new. So you can just see all the old style of the windows right away at the top. Right, this is really cool. We've got an old history board here, Cradley. It really does date back a bit. You can just see the anvil yard, just zooming right away in. How cool is this to see the old photos? All the way down here, the former High Street, Cradley, now called Colley Lane. You can just see the photos there, really cool, horse and cart. Got an old photo there, just zooming right away in. Hopefully you can see these really clear. I might take some really good photos of these in a little while. You've got the Bernard Oakley Memorial Gardens, what we've just covered, coming all the way out. Got the old photo there of Bernard J. Oakley. And this is really interesting because you can see there, Mr. Benjamin Hodgetts, and the chain making just right away there. You've got the Titanic anchor, Hingeley's of Netherton. Going all the way up, there's even more brickyards, a forgotten industry. So there's some information up there. You can just see an old brickyard place. If I just zoom right away in, you might be able to see it slightly. I'll also take a photo of that in a little while. We've even got Homer Hill Colliery. So Homer Hill is another section of the video. We are going to be covering Homer Hill a bit later on. So the church, what we're covering, is just by Homer Hill right away at the back. So we will get to that at a later date. But yeah, really interesting. Lots of interesting information there. You've got the Roxon motorcycle. JS Rock & Sons was founded in 1861 and traded as a copper soldering iron manufacturers. Wow, look at the bike on there. That is really dating back a bit. So it's really cool to see this. So I will take some photos and we'll tell you a bit more information when I get in the church. So I'll take some photo parts of this. So right, this is Homer Hill. You can just see the church bells right away into the distance. I might quickly show you Homer Hill Park. Let's just see if we can get over there, but you can hear the church bells. Listen to this. It's really cool to hear the church bells in an evening. I've always been passive but never heard the church bells actually going, so whether the church is open, that'd be quite cool if we can actually go in there. How nice is that? You can hear the church bells a bit more closer. For the people who've probably never heard the church bells ring here, there you go. That church is really dating old, I believe. So right here we've got the War Memorial plaque. You can just see 1939 to 1945. So we've got the people who actually died in World War II. Got the plaque here, remembrance. So it'll be interesting just to have a quick peek through the door. I'm gonna have a quick look. Oh wow, check out this, guys. You can just see, check out this. Goes right away to the top. Look how old the stairs are for this. Wow. I think there's a Hermie there. Let's go around the corner. Wow, check out the architecture for this. You've got the stained glass window right the way there. Got another stained glass window just right at the top with small patterns. Really beautiful. When you first walk into this place, wow. You can just see the architecture of the doorway going all the way down. So you can just see, I've just noticed this. It says there, St Peter's Cradley, opened the 5th of October 1933. So this is the first time I've got to see the church a bit more closer up. Bit of history there, you got the old blower, replacement blower installed. Really interesting information. Tells you about the restorations of the place. You got the top of the church right away there. Older weather vane. Wow, 2019 the dial was restored to how it would have looked in 1949. It's really cool to show you this. It says there 1875. A space was left for a clock to be added. Due to the lack of funds, this has never been done.
Maybe a bell's ringing and you want to go up to actually see the actual tower?
Yeah.
If you want to, bells? I don't know. I'll leave it inside with careful hands on it.
Down and flick. Perfect. That's it. Down and flick. Brilliant. Anticipate the bell, don't turn your arms up. You need to feel the weight of the rope and on the rope. That's perfect. That's it. Down and flick again. Yeah. Well done.
What a nice, lovely bunch. Really lovely people. Sat up there for about over 20 minutes, talked to them about a bit of Black Country history. Even got a chance to ring the bells, as you just seen. I am going to come back and come with Jules. But wow, it's a really opportunity to see the stairs here, to come up all up and down. You can see, you can come to here when it's actually open, so if you do see the door open, don't be afraid to pop in. And the beautiful sounds of the church. Wow, nice bell ring that was. Wow, look at the architecture up there, the stained glass windows. You see that one right the way there, a bit more closer. Got 3 beautiful stained glass windows. Just got right on the bottom of there, St Matthew, St Mark, St Luke. Tell you what, it's really beautiful. You can just see the wooden beams right away at the top. The patterns into those, if you can see them, going all the way down. Even the column supports, how they've got that pattern right the way there. Bit of colour into them. Really lovely, so I'll go close to that in a minute. You just see how old these windows really are, zooming in. Yeah. Right.
Where we'll be having time at all, so just be aware now, so things start to get a little bit tighter.
Tighter, yeah.
Okay.
Right.
So just mind your head
Yeah.
as you come in. So hopefully.
Oh wow.
Okay, so just be careful.
Oh, let's watch me head.
You're gonna
Sorry.
just have to be able to just stand there.
Yeah.
Because as you can see, we've got these bells are down, so this is the 8th.
Yeah.
If we do that, you'll be able to see that the rope in the tower down there.
Right.
You'll see the rope moving.
Yeah.
So this is the 8th bell,
Yeah.
and then you've got, obviously you can see the bells over there. Those are the bells that are up at the moment ringing.
Right.
So when they pull off, so that's where the bell goes right the way around.
Oh wow. Could I see it in there? It's amazing, isn't it? How old do you reckon this is in then altogether?
Well, funny enough, so you know our frame, as you can see at the moment.
Yeah.
Our frame needs a brand new frame.
Right.
So all of this frame as well. So we're actually in the process of trying to fundraise because it's going to take us about £50,000.
£50,000.
And it's going to last us the next 10 years. After 10 years, we've got
So we need to
frame.
get some donations in there.
Yeah. So we've started. We're going to have like a sponsored ring
Right.
in September. Hopefully we'll get the papers involved and things.
Yeah.
But we need a new frame. 50,000.
Right.
By 10 years time it might. So yeah. So those are our bells. And
So
each
how
one of
do you
the
go
bells-
about making a donation? Then do you have to come in or?
So what we're going to be asking,
Yeah.
make the donation, but make it to the church because we've actually got a bell fund
Right.
linked to the church. So if you state on the back of the cheque for the bell fund at St Peter's, the money will go straight through to our fund
Right.
because we're classed as a charity.
Yeah.
So we can get obviously the actual 25%. So
Oh,
for people that
right.
work, the tax. So we can get the tax back as well.
Yeah.
These louvers, they were bricked, but now we've had them remove the bricks, and you can see the louvers at the top. Look,
Oh, yeah.
It limits the amount of sound that can come out.
Oh wow.
So
It's
yeah,
really
so-
cool.
But there's the inscription.
They've got some dates onto these, 1949.
Yeah. So I I don't know too much about it, and if you do want to
Right.
know more information, I can get that information.
It's
to
got
you.
John Taylor and Company.
So that's the actual make of the bell, so that's who
Right.
produced the bells. However, these were actually, I'm sure they were a set that was made Venice way.
Venice.
And it was an actual, well, I'll double check, but it was
Yeah.
a local lady that paid for the bells.
Right.
So these actually went on, I think, a tour of Venice, I think. So, yeah, so they went over, but I can double check and get you all the info.
Yeah, sure. So I'll definitely come back to another bell ring, yeah.
Yeah. And then the local lady, bless her, she actually died before she actually heard the bells rung.
Oh,
So
bless.
she actually paid for the bells to be installed. So yeah, so this is obviously the makeup of the bell, but there's inscriptions
Yeah.
in the actual bells, and the inscriptions are actually downstairs on a frame.
Yeah.
They're actually inscribed in all of the bells. So yeah, so as you can see there, they've got 5 bells up. So you've got 1,
Right.
2, 3,
Yeah.
4, 5, and then you've got 6, 7, and 8.
I like the wheels on them, how they like turn like.
Yeah, so did you see the model downstairs? Pretty much the model of how it would work. So this is a stay here.
Yeah.
So the stay would come round and then you should be able to see the slider on the bottom.
So yeah, if you want to make a donation towards the church, just go ahead and do what she said just. So hopefully, you never know, you might get some donations in. Fingers crossed. So do feel free to come and donate towards this church. It is really lovely. Just give you one more pan around to show you. I might make a slight donation myself in time. It's really beautiful. 1949 on the date on there. Wow. So right, thank you very much for showing us the church. It's been really beautiful.
Yeah.
Right, let's see if we can get out of here now. This is going to be a bit of a problem. We've got to get back down there, so I'll meet you in a minute. So there we go for part 1. Really enjoyed it. What a beautiful evening. And that's exploring the Black Country. See you again soon for part 2, Homer Hill. We'll cover the history of the church in part 2. We're going to come back. Got more permission to do more things, so they might even show me more Texamere defenders, and we'll get back up to the bell tower, show Jules. See you soon. Take care, guys.